Today, let's make a pasta bucket for our food storage. Pasta is a great food storage extender. It allows your meat to go further, and it's full of carbohydrates. It fills up your stomach nice when you're eating, and it tastes great. And I think it's a great comfort food in an emergency. Now, the pasta you're storing could last 10 years or more. But you know what? I'm recommending that you just try to aim for a 5-year shelf life and rotate it through so you always have things at a higher nutritional peak. But what we're talking about today will make your pasta store for 10 years or more. Now, we're going to go over some of the different types of pasta and what pasta might be better for storage, different ways to store your pasta. Will you store it in canning jars, vacuum pack it, or put it in Mylar bags, or buy it in bulk and put it in a big food grade bucket? We're going to talk about that. There are loads and loads of different pasta on the grocery shelves. It's usually made for semolina flour, but there's gluten-free varieties made from corn or rice flour or even lentils, and some have vegetable powders added. And I advise you, don't store long-term whole grain pastas. They have some natural oil in them, and that natural oil can go rancid over time. And then a close cousin pasta, egg noodles. I love these Amish egg noodles. They come in various sizes. But what's one of the things they have in the ingredients? That's right, eggs. And eggs don't store as long. So look at the ingredients on your package before you decided if you want it for long-term storage. A regular spaghetti says semolina wheat, durum wheat flour. And for vitamins and minerals, it has vitamin B3, iron, vitamin B1, and vitamin B2, which is that folic acid. And it contains wheat ingredients. And that's it. So what is the shelf life of the pasta if you just keep it in your pantry in the original package? Well, I bought this yesterday. Let's find where it is. Here it is at the bottom. It says September 2025. And today is the middle of May in 2023. So that means it's keeping, over 2 years, maybe 2.5 years just on the shelf. So that's pretty darn good. But there are ways we can extend this. Now, I have to say, though, that you notice that this date at the bottom said, best if used by. Doesn't expire. Pasta never expires. But over time, it will lose nutrition and taste and texture. And eventually, it'll taste probably like cardboard. So it might look completely fine, but it has had a lot of nutritional loss. So that's why it's important to package it correctly so you don't lose nutrition long term. Well, at least as much nutrition long term. So what can we do to extend the life of our pasta storage? Well, we need to keep the enemies of food storage at bay. And those are oxygen, heat, light, moisture, and pests. And if we can do that all successfully, we can keep this pasta for a long, long time. But now let's talk about what I recommend for pasta storage. Should it be in the glass jars, vacuum packed bags, or Mylar bags? Let's see. First off, let's talk about buying pasta in bulk and putting it in a big bucket. And usually in that food grade bucket, you also have a big Mylar bag. Not really necessary. But then you have a 5-gallon bucket filled with pasta. And as soon as you open it, what happens? That's right. Oxygen comes in, light comes in, maybe moisture. Not good. So unless you are going to be using it and making a huge pasta salad for maybe your family reunion or something like that, it's better to store your pasta in smaller quantities that really reflect how you cook. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Now, a lot of people like to put pasta in their canning jars. And it is nice because you can always see how much you have in here, and you can reseal these. We'll look at vacuum sealing them in just a minute. But you know what? Canning jars aren't cheap. Of course, you can get them at garage sales and things. But I like to keep my canning jars for canning. So this is not my preferred method. And also, even though you have a great seal, over time something can happen. It comes loose and you don't notice it. That has happened to me before with some of my dehydrated goods downstairs. So, not my preferred method, but let's look at how to do this. I put the lid on. That's okay. And this is a food saver vacuum sealer attachment. I got a link below if you're interested. And then I just use my food saver, pull this out, put this in. It's in good. Turn it on. Do accessory. And there it goes. A little noisy while it does this. Changing. I think it'll be done soon. Here we go. It's on. Let's try picking it up by just there you go. As you can see, I could pick it up just my fingertips on the lid. We have a complete seal. Next up, let's look at Mylar bag packing. Now, these Mylar bags are great because they're extra thick, 5 millimeters thick. As you can see, no light can get in, and they are considered a great way to preserve food long term. But again, there is a cost of these bags. Now, I have a link below if you'd like to buy some Wallaby bags, and I have a $5 coupon off. When I do use Mylar bags, this is how I do it. And this is the 2-quart size, the 8 by 12. So here's the bag. I like this size because it fits a full box of penne pasta in it, or elbow pasta in it. So it's a good size to use. And I'm using 400cc oxygen absorbers, just one in a bag. And then I'm using an iron to seal the bag, but you can use a hair straightener, whatever you have. So here's my finished product. And right now, it doesn't seem as compressed as it will after this oxygen absorber is in there a day or two. But you want to make sure you label it because there's no way you cannot feel what's in the bag. This is my preferred method. I like using my vacuum sealer. My bags are relatively inexpensive. Now, you do have to be careful because some of your pasta has sharper edges on it. And when you're vacuum packing it, it could break through the bag or eventually break through the bag. So I think you need an extra layer of protection. And for me, I just make an inner bag of parchment paper, and that works great. So I've cut a piece here. I want to put it in that bag. So bag is huge. And at the bottom, oh, like that. So kind of making a parchment bag inside a bag. There.
We'll figure out the loud.
Okay. And now. There we have it. Now we need to seal it. So I cuff the top right here, the lid, so it won't interfere when I'll seal. Now let's seal it. Now we'll place our bag in. There it goes. It's on the dry setting. Okay, there we have it. Nice seal. Looking all over. No punchers. Success. So in a quart jar here, still have that much left. But in my quart vacuum seal bags, it took the entire box. So that's another reason I like it compared to putting it in a glass jar. So you now have your pasta all nice and packaged, and the next step is storage, and that's important too for longevity. Now I'm going to put these bags in a food grade bucket and then put a gamma lid on top and label it so I know what's in there. And then I'm going to store it in my prep room downstairs. And that area of the house is always cooler. And that's good because you want to keep your stored food under 70 degrees or under if you can, because that will extend the life of the food. The hotter it gets, the less years of shelf life you have. And pests can eat through this bag and even eat through the Mylar and through some other plastic storage. You know, mice, rats, things like that, they're very industrious. If they smell food, they want to find a way to get in it. So you want to put these in a thick Rubbermaid container or food grade bucket, something that you know the mice can't get in. It could even be a clean metal trash can, but something that is rodent proof. Now, do you have to worry about bugs, weevils and moths and that type of thing? Well, some people say yes, and some people put their pasta in the original package in the freezer for 3 days and then leave it out maybe for about 5 days before they actually package it. And the idea is that will kill the eggs that might be in the pasta. Pasta is usually now at the manufacturer heat treated, so I don't think there is as much problem. But if you worry about that, you can do it. To me, I am putting in an oxygen-free environment, or as oxygen-free as I can make it. So I am not really worried about weevils or those type of pests. But maybe where you live, there are different pests, so do your own research. Now, along with your pasta storage, make sure that you have things on your pantry shelves that you can use with your pasta, such as marinara or spaghetti sauce, or your home canned spaghetti sauce, which is really my preference, but I ran out. Gotta wait till August again when I can more tomatoes. And I want to have this Parmesan cheese. Yes, I know you purists out there, that's not real Parmesan. Well, you know what? It keeps on my shelf. And yes, technically, when you open these, you're supposed to put it in your refrigerator. I never knew that, and I'm 68 years old, and it's always been opened on my pantry shelf, so I still do that. But this keeps 18 months, 2 years on your shelves, so make sure you have cheese if you use that on your spaghetti. And of course, I like things a little spicy, so I am always adding some crushed red peppers. Now, with your tomato sauce, if it's in cans, it may not stay in an edible fashion on your pantry shelves as long because tomatoes are acidic and it can eat into the can. So I prefer buying pasta sauce in glass jars, not plastic, if possible, because plastic also can leak microplastics into the sauce, and that's just not for me or for my family. Gosh, this is good. You may also be interested in how to make a sugar bucket.